So if I gotta pick one number one question that I got asked, that would be, why do I find gardening enjoyable? Hi guys, so this is the first YouTube video that I made. My name is Dennis and I love plants. So gardening for me is not just about food production, it's more about peace and therapy. I had always been asking myself the same question, like why do I find gardening enjoyable? Until one day I looked back to my growing up environment and I think I found the answer. So I grew up in a rural small town back in Myanmar, where we have like a huge backyard. Inside the backyard, we have 8 guava trees and 1 persimmon tree and a big area for veggies garden. So when I was little, I always saw my grandparents growing their own fruits and veggies, and the whole house was full of fresh fruits and veggies during the harvest season. So when I got a little bit older, I started seeing my mom's growing orchids, roses, and other indoor potting plants. And I still remember till today that I saw my mom's face was full of joy and happiness when she saw her plants in bloom. And perhaps that's where I get my planting or gardening desire started. Or perhaps I thought that's where people get the joy and happiness from, like from gardening. So by growing up in that environment, like full of greeneries around, I started having a picture that this is how a comfy home should look like. So today, I will feel weird if I don't have any greeneries around me. That's how I got influenced by my family and the people around me. Ever since then, I always try to have like a few plants around me regardless where I go or live. So I got my first plant in the first week that I got to Melbourne, Australia, which is this little Buddha plant bonsai, which has grown quite a bit in shape compared to like a few years back. I still remember by the time I got it, it was super tiny, sitting in a small pot, and I repotted it for like quite a few times during this period, and now sitting in this pot, which is big enough for it to grow the root system. And now it's autumn in Australia. It's still pushing out new leaves here. I'm not sure if you guys can see because it's a bit dark now because it's nighttime, like 10 something. But during the spring and summer season, it's growing super fast, pushing out new leaves constantly. So I have to trim it literally every few days, just try to keep it in this rounded shape so that it doesn't outgrow the pot and become like ugly and bushy look. And for my orchids and indoor plants, like rare plant collection journey, I think I started it a year ago. And as you all might notice, the indoor plant business has been skyrocketed during the pandemic. One more people are getting locked in at home and they got nowhere to spend their money and time. And that's where people started developing their planting hobby, which is not only offering you like a plant to take care of, but also provide you the opportunity to work on your creativity about how to decorate your place with the indoor plants. But for me, I started my planting journey after the pandemic. And I have always been wanted to have my first orchids, but I didn't dare enough to get one because I thought I might kill it, because I have never grown the orchids by myself before, apart from just watching my mom's growing them when I was little. Until one day I found a very decent offer on Facebook Marketplace, which is for a lady. She offered 6 orchids for $60, which is super cheap compared to the other place. So I went ahead with the transaction and I had my very first orchids, yeah, 6 of them at the same time. And that's how and when I started my orchids journey. Since then, I keep getting orchids in different colors, just try to add them into my collection. And as of today, I already got 200 orchids in my collection. Looking back to this journey, I feel that this is something that I will never feel regret of, because I kind of enjoy taking care of them. I appreciate their blooms, I appreciate their growing phase. So yeah, that's a part of my gardening journey. Within that first year, I struggled, and also I've killed a few plants as well. Until one day I reached to the point that I'm on top of the growing and care requirements of the orchid. By saying that, I don't mean that I'm not killing any plants anymore. I'm just saying that I'm becoming more experienced compared to me a year back. Because like all plants are different, even though they are from the same kind, one is growing well and the same care, in the same condition, the same environment, doesn't mean that the other one is growing well under the same care and condition of growing. So you gotta tailor it down to their individual need. Yeah, that's a part of the journey. And for my rare plant collection, I only started it like 4 months ago with the first monstera apple variegator. But unfortunately, I've killed the plant. And it's a very expensive plant, and that's a shame. But then I got another one not long after, because I've always been wanted to get one of my own, like my own monstera apple variegator. And slowly I've collected a few of them, a few of the rare plants, like 3 monsteras and some philodendrons as well. And that will be the ongoing process for my planting journey. And now we got like a plant room at my place where I keep all my orchids and indoor plants in the same room. And that's usually my go-to place as well after work, just trying to have a look on my plants. And whenever I need peace, I just go inside the room and try to keep myself apart from the crowd. And I find that gardening helps me to concentrate and to meditate. And it brings me back to the present, to the moment, and helps me to appreciate the stuff around me, especially after having a long day at work. Yeah, I think that's why I find gardening is enjoyable. Yeah, that's the story behind my gardening hobby and gardening journey. And that's all for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoy it. And also, I'll be posting some videos about orchid growth and care tips in the future. So if you're interested in seeing any of these videos, definitely stay tuned. And if you like today's video, just don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you wish to see more videos in the future, don't forget to click on subscribe button down below. So thank you so much for watching, guys, for today's video, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye.